The Bold and the Beautiful, Friday, October 17, 2025, episode 9634. Everything changes when secrets crack wide open. Betrayals come into focus, and new alliances form at the edge of ambition, guilt, and revelation. Friday's episode delivers three emotional collisions that could reshape the future for several characters on The Bold and the Beautiful. From a bold introduction in the design world to a shocking confrontation between mother and son, and a young man torn between disbelief and fury, this episode is anything but filler. It's a slow-burn powder keg, and the fuse has officially been lit. Dickie meets Elektra. A new dynamic begins in the high-energy halls of Forrester Creations. Dickie Sharp steps into a new chapter, hoping to carve a place for himself without leaning on his sister Hope's name or influence. While the creative team buzzes around post-gala follow-ups and next season planning, Dickie has one goal: be seen, be taken seriously, and break out of Hope's shadow. But fate, as always, has other ideas. While reviewing collections in the design wing, Dickie's attention shifts to Elektra, the newest intern at Forrester. Young, stylish, enigmatic, she's not just another pretty face in couture. She's sharp, observant, and clearly knows how to hold her ground. Their first interaction is unplanned but electric. Dickie, never shy, walks over with his portfolio tucked under his arm, using charm laced with confidence. Name's Dickie. You knew? Elektra smirks, not looking up from her sketches. I know who you are. Hope's brother, right? That jab could have been dismissive, but her tone is playful. Dickie leans in, intrigued. Let's say I'm something more. I've got work that speaks louder than a last name. He hands her his sample sketches. She flips through them, arching an eyebrow. You're good, but around here, good has a short shelf life. What starts as light flirtation quickly morphs into professional chemistry. Elektra's bluntness only fuels Dickie's drive, and Dickie's raw talent piques her interest. For the first time since arriving, Elektra sees someone in the building who isn't stuck in old bloodlines or recycled legacy. The exchange is brief, but the spark is unmistakable. Dickie walks away with a subtle grin. What began as a solo mission to prove himself might just be the start of a new power duo. Professionally or more. Will struggles with the truth about Luna. Meanwhile, across town, Will Spencer sits in the dim corner of a private lounge, staring blankly at the drink in front of him. Untouched, the weight of Luna's betrayal still presses down like a vice. He remembers that night in broken flashes. The laughter, the haze of alcohol, the feeling of being with someone he thought was Elektra, only to wake up to Luna. And now she's pregnant. Every instinct tells Will to walk away, to deny, to let his father's lawyers handle it. But something gnaws at him deeper than shame or anger: confusion. Why him? Why target him? He wasn't even close to Luna. He barely knew her. Will calls her but gets voicemail. He messages her. Nothing. He's spiraling. Not because of the child. Not even because of the deception. But because he still doesn't know if what happened was a premeditated trap or just a desperate act by a woman with a mess of motives. The headlines will explode the moment this hits the press. The Spencer name isn't shielded from scandal, not anymore. But beyond the reputation, Will is left asking one question on repeat: why did Luna choose me? He doesn't know that Luna, even now, is watching from a distance, calculating her next move. And this is just the beginning. Finn confronts Lee. A son demands the truth in a cold, tense confrontation long overdue. Drive. John Finnegan finally faces the woman who raised him. Not as a son, but as a pawn in a web of secrets. Lee Finnegan, calm and clinical as ever, stands in her kitchen, organizing pills into a weekly dispenser as if nothing seismic is about to unfold. Finn walks in, eyes dark with betrayal. You told me she was dead, he says. You let me grieve for a sister I never knew. You watched me search for answers and said nothing. Lee doesn't flinch. It was complicated. Don't give me that, Finn snaps. You stole a life. You lied to my face. You robbed me of a relationship with Luna, not just a sister, a person. Who does that? Lee finally looks up, steel in her gaze. I saved her. If I hadn't stepped in, she would have died. And given who her father was, I thought it better that she stay out of the spotlight. Finn paces, hands on his head. You decided that for me. For us. Now she's out there destroying people's lives. Steffi almost died because of her. Will's caught in her web. You created this chaos by hiding her. Lee's voice lowers. I protected you. Finn steps closer. No, you controlled me. There's a difference. The rift is now irreversible. A mother who justified her lies as protection, and a son who sees them as betrayal. Lee kept Luna alive, but in doing so, she severed the trust between her and Finn forever. As Finn walks out of the house, slamming the door behind him, Lee stands in silence. But her face cracks. For the first time, she wonders if she was wrong. What happens next? Elektra and Dickie's connection could be the breath of fresh air Forrester Creations needs. But ambition and attraction don't always mix cleanly. Will must now decide if he'll face the press or disappear quietly. All while a child, his child, grows inside a woman who manipulated him. And Finn, finally freed from Lee's silence, must navigate what it means to be Luna's brother while Steffi remains in danger. What Luna does next will either tie her deeper into the Forrester web, or blow it apart from the inside. One thing is clear, secrets don't stay buried on the bold and the beautiful. They rise, they burn, and they never come without a price. On Friday, October 17, 2025, the bold and the beautiful dives headfirst into ambition, family loyalty, broken trust, and the silent war between deception and redemption. Delivered with the usual heat, scandal, and high fashion flair, at the center of it all is Dickie Sharp, a man with a legacy he never asked for and a name that opens more doors than he's comfortable with. But today, he's not leaning on his last name. Today, he's chasing his dream the hard way, quietly, independently, and on his own terms. With hope for the future finally back on its feet after months of instability. The brand needs a new designer. Not just a placeholder, not another legacy hire. Someone fresh, someone bold, someone who can step in and deliver a line that doesn't just follow the past but creates the next future. Dickie sees the opening, not as a handout from his half-sister, Hope Logan, but as his shot. He's studied the game. He knows design, cuts, color theory, and structure. He's worked in the shadows long enough. And now, he wants in. But Dickie doesn't want the job because of Hope. He doesn't even want Hope to know. He quietly slips his portfolio into the candidate pile at Forrester Creations under a pseudonym. No resume that says, Sharp. No family ties. No pressure. If he gets the job, he wants to know it's because of talent, not bloodline. He waits. But Forrester doesn't stop just because a new design hire is pending. The review committee is delayed. Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan are preoccupied, locked in their own world of seduction and stolen kisses inside Ridge's office. Once again, PDA takes precedence over professionalism at Forrester. Ridge's office has become less of a boardroom and more of a boudoir. And Brooke, true to form, shows up in the kind of lingerie that was never meant to stay on. It's a distraction, yes, but one they've embraced for decades. While portfolios sit unread, Brooke and Ridge are tangled up in their own timeless dance. One full of passion, history, and a spark that, despite everything, never seems to fade. For now, the future of the company can wait. Meanwhile, outside those indulgent walls, Dickie turns his attention towards something more personal. His father, Deacon Sharp, is unraveling. The truth about Sheila Carter has left scars he can't cover. What she did, who she hurt, and what she nearly destroyed weighs on him like a boulder chained to his chest. The man who once believed he could tame the wildest woman in Los Angeles now faces the fallout of marrying her. Their marriage, always volatile, is breaking apart under the pressure of secrets and lies. Sheila, true to form, remains unapologetic. She doesn't regret, she doubles down, and now that Deacon is pulling away, she's not preparing to let go. She's preparing to manipulate, to twist, to play the games that have kept her alive for years. Because she doesn't lose, not men, not power, not anything. But the problem is, this time, Deacon might be ready to walk for good. Dickie sees it, he hears it, he listens as his father unburdens in half-sentences and bitter silences. And for the first time, he realizes how close Deacon is to breaking. It hurts Dickie to see him this way, stripped down, exposed, vulnerable. And even though Dickie isn't the type to give long-winded advice or lectures, his presence becomes an anchor. Maybe Deacon doesn't need advice. Maybe he just needs someone who knows how hard it is to claw your way out from under the shadow of your past. But while Deacon is losing control of his life, Sheila Carter is quietly putting her next move into play. She wants her husband back. Not because of love, not because of remorse, but because losing means weakness, and Sheila doesn't do weak. She doesn't accept defeat, and if it means manipulating emotions, faking redemption, or orchestrating a grand spectacle, so be it. The only thing more dangerous than Sheila Carter in love is Sheila Carter scorned. She starts with guilt, reminders of the good moments, echoes of the promises they made. Then she pivots to threats, veiled beneath apologies. She promises she's changed, that she was only trying to protect him. But Sheila never changed. She simply adapted. And now that Deacon's walking away, she's ready to fight for him, but on her terms. And just like Sheila never learns, it seems Luna Nozawa doesn't either. Luna's spiral continues, her once sweet image warping into something darker. The pressure of being caught between her past and present, her secrets and desires, has chipped away at her foundation. The legacy of deception in her blood is beginning to show. Luna, like her grandmother, doesn't handle rejection well. And when she feels cornered, she lashes out. Now, rumors swirl that Luna may be planning an escape, fueled not by fear, but by vengeance. And when Luna runs, she doesn't run empty-handed. She takes with her not just secrets but targets. As the day unfolds, the pieces are moving across the board. Dickie's portfolio remains unread, buried beneath more established names. He waits in silence, wondering if talent is ever enough in a town like this. Brooke and Ridge flirt with nostalgia in an office full of distractions. Deacon teeters between regret and rage as the woman he married shows signs of circling back into madness. Sheila plans her next strike, unwilling to let go of what she considers hers. And Luna? Luna is watching, waiting, ready to set fire to the past and take the future down with it. The world of the bold and the beautiful doesn't stop. Not for grief, not for dreams, not for love. Everyone wants something, everyone's hiding something, and everyone's time is running out. Under the dazzling lights of Forrester Creations' long-awaited fall fashion gala, where every step down the runway screamed opulence and precision, where camera flashes painted the room in white-hot strobes and whispered commentary from buyers, influencers, and media elites filled the air, Liam Spencer was planning something even bigger than the clothes. He was about to hijack the moment, not for fashion, not for press, but for love. Or at least, his version of it. After months of emotional turbulence and quietly watching Hope Logan drift further from him, gravitating toward her independence, her career, and most recently, the unexpected connection with Carter Walton, Liam knew he had to act. Watching from the sidelines had nearly broken him. Now, with Hope for the future back in the spotlight, and Hope herself reclaiming her confidence, Liam thought the timing was right to go all in. Not just with words, not just with late-night pleas and nostalgic memories. This time, he would make the world see it. He would make her see it. His plan? Simple in theory, risky in execution. A public proposal. A grand, unforgettable gesture at the climax of the runway show. Right after the final model walked, right as the lights dimmed and the applause began to rise, Liam would walk out, center stage, and drop to one knee. Not in private, not behind closed doors, but in front of fashion editors, socialites, stylists, and the entire Forrester team. A moment so big, so dramatic, that Hope would have no choice but to feel the gravity of it. He believed it would prove to her how serious he was, how much he believed in them. That it wasn't just another cycle in their turbulent love story. That they could rebuild, start again, give their daughter, Beth, the stable family he kept promising. But what Liam saw as a power move of romantic certainty, others whispered might backfire spectacularly. Because Hope Logan wasn't the same woman she was a year ago. She'd broken free of the loop, at least partially. She'd begun stepping into herself. She'd seen what it looked like to stop chasing the idea of forever and start living in the truth. That truth had included long conversations with Carter. Deep, intellectual talks. Uncomplicated attention. The kind of calm and respect that didn't come with a history of betrayals and emotional landmines. And though Hope never called it love, not yet, her heart had been shifting. Even if she didn't want to admit it. So when the night arrived and the show began, everything looked perfect on the outside. The venue pulsed with excitement. Brooke Logan sat front row, beaming with maternal pride. Ridge stood nearby, arms crossed, analyzing every stitch with a designer's eye. Carter, poised and elegant in a tailored suit, observed quietly, his gaze drifting off into Hope, watching how she navigated the crowd. And Liam, in the wings, waited for the signal. The show hit its final beat. The music swelled. Models lined up for the finale walk. Hope stepped forward to take her bow as lead creative director. Applause thundered. Photographers snapped like machine guns. Then the lights shifted. The music cut. A single spotlight hit center stage. And Liam walked out. The audience murmured. Phones raised. Whispers spread like wildfire. Brooke's smile faltered slightly. Ridge tensed. Carter stood still. And Hope's expression froze. Liam stepped to the center, reached into his jacket, and pulled out the ring box. He dropped to one knee. The crowd gasped. Hope, he said, voice strong, but heart pounding like a war drum. I've loved you for as long as I can remember. We've had our ups and downs, our triumphs, our tragedies, but through it all, you've always been the one. You're my best friend, the mother of our beautiful daughter, the love of my life. And I want to spend every day earning your trust back. Will you marry me? The room held its breath. Hope stared at him, frozen in the storm of it all. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. Every camera was on her. Every face in the room looked for her answer. And in that moment, what Liam intended as a declaration of love felt like a trap. Hope didn't feel swept away. She felt exposed, cornered, pushed. The ring sparkled. The silence grew heavier. And suddenly, Hope stepped back. Her voice, when it finally came, was quiet. Unsteady. I need a moment. And she turned. Not to Liam. Not to her mother. But to Carter. Her eyes met his, wide, searching, uncertain. And then she walked off stage. The crowd buzzed, confused and intrigued. Liam stood alone, still on one knee, his hand now empty in the air. Slowly, he stood, jaw tight, blinking against the glare of the spotlight and the sting of rejection. Brooke followed after Hope, panic all over her face. Ridge turned to Carter, who said nothing but clenched his jaw, clearly aware of what was unraveling before them. Backstage, Hope paced. Her heart pounded, not because she didn't care about Liam, but because she did. Just not in the way she used to. His proposal wasn't romantic, it was pressure. It was spectacle, and it reminded her of every other time Liam tried to win her back with grand words. Only to fall into the same patterns later. Carter found her minutes later, his voice calm, steady. You okay? She nodded. I think so. You don't owe anyone an answer tonight, he said. Especially not in front of a room full of strangers. Hope looked up at him. Her voice barely above a whisper. That's just it. He didn't propose to me. He proposed to the crowd. I was just the prop. Carter exhaled slowly, visibly restraining himself from saying what he truly felt. Then maybe it's time you stop letting everyone else decide your future. Hope's eyes glistened. Behind them, Liam stared through the crack in the door, watching it all. Watching them. He knew then, his showstopper had backfired. And now, the triangle that once defined his life had shifted. This wasn't just about Hope anymore. It was about Carter, too. A new player. A new rhythm. A new threat. What came next wouldn't be about rings or proposals. It would be about the truth. And the truth was, for the first time in a long time, Liam might have already lost.